Today we're going to rant about the ban list and how I want to talk about Delinquent Duo. The subsequent topic of this video is going to be Delinquent Duo, but I also want to talk about a few other things and why I want unban. I can't even say it right. All right, like I want Delinquent Duo unbanned. Okay, there we go. I didn't have to think about it. I just said it. All right. See, that's the power of taboo. Let's dig on into this, shall we? So I was thinking about this, and I just wanted to have a discussion, really talking about Delinquent Duo. I guess forceful century and confiscation will kind of find their way into this topic because they kind of do the same thing, but it's very interesting. So, Delinquent Duo says pay 1,000 life points. You go, yoink! You steal a card out of your opponent's hand and you discard it. All right, ripped away, and then your opponent has to discard a card. Now, here's the interesting thing about this by modern day Yu-Gi-Oh standards. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so if you're using this card in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this card is a going first century card. None of you can argue with me with this. This card's 100% maximum value is turn 1 of the game. Now, you use this, I full combo you, so we'll go good example here. So we'll put a Borreload Savage and an Apollos on the field for 3 negates. That's bare minimum, okay? Now, if I Delinquent Duo'd you, you are starting your turn with 3 cards in hand, and you will be drawing to a +1, alright? I effectively have the same amount of negates that you have cards in your hand. Wow. The problem with wanting to bring Delinquent Duo back to the game is it's another card that causes unfair interactions with the game. You're like, wait a minute, what do you mean by unfair? Konami does not like interactions that take away from the start of the game. Robbie! Wait. Yes, blue shirt Robbie. Well, Aqua Dolphin exists, Robbie. So does Smoke Grenade. For now, Chief, I very well assure you that once Link Cross gets taken care of at some point here, I don't know what to tell you. Every person that's been playing this game as of late, we've all pretty much acknowledged that there's a timer on this, and part of the broken hand loop is because of the Link Cross extensions and things like that. So I do think, for the most part, that we will probably not have to deal with that. There's no point in going after banning Smoke Grenade. Aqua Dolphin's had his time in the light to be talked about for ripping hand traps. So at the end of the day, I do think that Konami's like, they're aware that hand loops are bad. Look at windups, alright? Any sort of those hand looping interactions that we had for the longest time, they got scrapped, they got thrown away. Now, I did specifically bring up turn 1 of the game for Delinquent Duo. Now, Delinquent Duo, as I said, is a going first centric based card. You're using this card as a means to detour resources from your opponent. Now, if you are playing Delinquent Duo in a sense of going second, so I managed to break your board, okay, and then I Delinquent Duo you back. Alright, so I'm shaving off your resource management. We're going into third turn of the game because I didn't OTK you for some reason. This is probably the most realistic scenario here. Then that's fine. But I think the general consensus that the player base is going to have is I'm probably going to main Delinquent Duo because I'm going to want to win the dice roll. Alright, 100%. If I go second inside in games 2 and 3, or 3, we're going to board out the Delinquent Duo because it's a card that does not further our combo, as is the current mentality with the game, correct? Now, the other danger to the Delinquent Duo here is, say, we're going to use Orchest for an example. So I activate Delinquent Duo, I steal, oh, there went your symbol skeleton, for example, and then you discard the one that, you know, banishes from the graveyard to special from the hand. I basically gave you your starting combo pieces, and that's kind of where I guess the balancing aspect of Delinquent Duo comes in. Though, I mean, pay 1,000 life points on that discard from the opponent. Balance, by the way. graveyard decks that need these combo cards, like you can very easily toss a Gizmek from your hand into the graveyard, or like you're playing Blue Eyes or something, so you want to toss the White Stone of Ancients into the graveyard. There are decks that will be able to recur off of this. Don't get me wrong, they do exist, but for the general rest of the scope, I'm going to say 60% of the decks out there do not have that sort of graveyard recurability out there. Fred over here going to locals playing a Subterror deck, you Delinquent Duo of the Stun player, they're already going to have a shit game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 4 cards in a Stun deck, it's bad. No matter how you sugarcoat it, alright, like, this is one of the best hand disruption cards in the game. If you're, back in the GOAT days, where slower cards like Sinister Serpent existed, and we had more of this floatability, there was more recoverability. You're back from a slow-paced tempo format to where the game is now in terms of development, and you're like, speed is important. Those 6 cards to the going second player matter everything, alright? And if the one random discard off of the beginning, that 20% chance to hit something broken from your opponent. Oh, yeah, by the way, I can randomly Delinquent Duo hit your hand trap. 20% chance, by the way. And then you have to discard another card, and then you have to use the hand trap. Think about that. If I go Delinquent Duo, I hit combo piece, you discard combo piece. I go to start, you ash me. You're going into your turn with 3 cards in hand, alright? 3. Alright? There's no easy way to justify this card coming back to the game. None. Alright? Now, on the kicker here, we're going to talk about Confiscation and Forceful Sentry, as they are essentially the same card, minus Forceful Sentry being better. So, you all might not know this, but the reason why a Pointer of the Red Lotus is such a broken card is a little thing that I like to call knowledge. Alright? Why is knowledge important? Well, little one, when you are getting to look at your opponent's hand, you can decide where you want to burn your negates. Okay? So I set a Pointer of the Red Lotus. I go, alright, your turn. You shoot the pointer, your opponent reveals their hand. You see that your opponent has 2 starters. Well, if you blow both on the starters, they can't play the game anymore. Now think about this on turn 1. So you go first, you're like, alright, Confiscation. Your opponent has to reveal their hand to you, and this is why Aqua Dolphin's busted. You're like, oh, that's a really nice Ash Blossom. That's a really nice Nibiru you got there. Oh, let me take that away from you. And then you just discard. Now, Forceful Sentry is better because it shuffles it back into the deck versus Confiscation, who puts the resource into the graveyard that you both can access. Shenanigans. But both of these create, once again, unfair game states. Not only do you get to take away the hand trap from your opponent, you get to get the mental snapshot of the other 4 cards in your opponent's hand. You can build your board to play around those scenarios. And that's where our issue comes in with this. It's not the fact that you get to discard the resource or take the resource from the opponent. No, that's incredibly powerful. Players in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Underestimate knowledge. Alright? There was a short time where you could take notes in this game. Being able to, set pre-order, set some other stuff, set the judgment, and then you got a quick little snapshot over here of what's in your opponent's hand. You can manage off of the one unknown that they draw and be like, oh, hey, like, I should save the judgment for this, try to bait in this order. And that knowledge is a very rare thing. Now, I'm not saying you should play bad cards to look at your opponent's hand. We got plenty of those, all right? But it's the fact that the knowledge off of these interruptible cards, like a Pointer, Confiscation, Forceful Sentry over here, that Trap Dust Shoot's another good example here. The ability to get that knowledge and play around with the opponent's doing, especially in such a heavy combo-oriented game right now, there's a reason why these cards stay banned. As much as we want things like Delinquent Duo back in the game for modern Yu-Gi-Oh, hand destruction ties in with knowledge, and these are bad things for the progress of the game. So, while some people out there, like me, might like to have the chance to play these cards again, they are very broken for that reason. So guys, please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think about everything in this video, and well guys, until next time, Deucerinos. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.